Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon.
GM.
How's it going?
It's going
Pretty
good. How
good.
are you? Happy Friday.
Great.
Hi, happy Friday. Finally, we end up.
So we're joined today with let me just close this window here. We're joined today with some of our amazing builders during this creator season. Uh, Unfortunately, a lot of the players and builders weren't able to make it. So we're kind of a smaller group, but we'll give them some praise and like still showcase a bit what they built. But we're joined by Nida, Paolo, both built a cartridge, and Zach, one of our amazing community members and biggest supporters. I will share my screen really quickly to just recap a little bit, what we did in this creator season. And after that we'll get into some of the cartridges and tapes that were created during this phase. So I will just present full screen. Let me know if this is visible.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah. So this is the agenda. We'll do extra quick recap of Rives, recap the contest, and then check out the cartridges and tapes that were created. We had 9 cartridges that were played during the creative season, and we're lucky to have some of the builders here to kind of recap a bit, or share their experience building these cartridges. And we'll also look at tapes, which are like kind of the gameplays that were submitted. We'll be looking at kind of maybe the top tapes that were created, basically the best gameplays. While chit-chatting here and having a casual conversation. Just to recap Rives. So Rives is a creator-focused console, and that's why also this creator season, is kind of a good exemplification of like what we're trying to achieve. First of all, it's a way to easily create games, cartridges we call them. It lets you distribute, discover, and play these games, in a very simple way, and then remix, mod, and co-create games. That's kind of like the broader vision, right? Because we're doing everything here runs essentially verifiably on chain, and so the idea is like people could or you could easily come and take a game and add functionalities in the future as well. Everything running on Rives runs verifiably. Simply put, you run the game in your browser, you play it. For example, Doom. Your gameplay log is then submitted on chain when you submit a transaction, and it's verified, and then you get on the leaderboard. So your score or your position in the leaderboard is verified, and there's no like sort of intermediary or centralized server that can affect those results. So your score is yours, and as I mentioned, you have these tapes afterwards that you can replay that essentially pick up your log and rerun them in the Rives emulator. So we had this creator season 1, which is the first creator season, obviously, and we started off things with a game jam where we had some amazing games built by the community, and then we had a player contest where people essentially competed on those games. And overall, it went really well. We had this really cool leaderboard with every game, and people were ranked based on their sort of results across games. Um, Overall, this kind of creator season took place between November 15 and December 27th, and 2 weeks essentially of game jam, a bit more than 2 weeks, and then little phase to kind of polish the games, and then we essentially almost immediately after started off playing the games. So obviously, within this short amount of time, the games aren't like final products. They're like more almost in some cases still like kind of rough on the edges, but overall it went really well, and I think people really enjoyed it. We'll hear more from our builders and players afterwards as well. We had 2.5K in prizes distributed to players, and we had a game jam prize as well, and then we had another prize for game creators where we distributed an additional prize to them based on engagement with their cartridge. So this was again like our attempt to kind of reward both creators and players in a new way. And yeah, I think it was pretty fun and pretty cool. So you guys should join the next one either as players or builders, and also earn some prizes maybe. And overall, I think it's also just a fun thing to do. High level stats here: we had 1,443 submissions. So on Rives, you can just play as much as you want. And when you're happy with your score, you can submit your gameplay. So 1,043 gameplays were submitted. That doesn't account for, how many times that person plays before submitting it for verification. And we had 136 addresses, people participating, or, addresses participating in this contest as well. So those were the stats. Those were a little bit like, I just want to run you through things. I think we can, jump into, a little bit more, of this conversation with some of the builders here, and some of the players as well. I'll stop sharing, and maybe we can give a very brief intro, like, Nida, Paolo, Zach, if you guys want to give a few words before we dive into it.
Yeah, I guess I can go first. So hi everyone, my name is Zach Prater. If you've been in the Cartesi community, you've seen me around there since 2020. But I'm really big into games, trying my best to launch a few and play around with Rives. I've loved Rives for the most part just because I was a big game jam guy back in the day, jumping on a lot of different game jams to play around with Unity or Godot, and seeing Max really take up this effort with Rives was really exciting. It's an incredible journey, and playing a lot of the games is really fun. I love playing games from different people such as Danilo or Nita or Pablo that I see on Discord and Telegram, and actually just seeing the creativity just flow into a game itself. I think we can all attest that games are different art forms, so it's really cool seeing someone's art come to life on the Rives platform. So yeah, that's a quick intro about me, and I'll hand it to Nita.
Thank you, Zach. Yeah, I was also in working with Cartesi since 2020, but being in crypto and all the on-chain things, I was behind some of the other profile, and since 2023 or end of the 2022, we met Zach at Istanbul at ETH Global. And after that, there was the gaming thing was how we call it, Max? We call it rather than the Rives.
Oh, the World Arcade?
Yeah. It was like World Arcade in my mind, playing game through the on-chain. And thanks to Rives and you guys, we will be able to play our games on chain, and being in the background of the non-dev, I'm really excited to be here and share my story about the game creator. If you guys, the other watchers, don't know, I work in the marketing and community team of the Cartesi. So jumping into game development was definitely a new and challenging thing for me, because as Max and other guys, Paolo also knew that, I decided to use AI to help with my development. And let me tell you about that. AI is great, but it's not the perfect one. For example, when I tried to adding sprites, I realized many times the most AI tools still have troubles with that. So thanks to Max, and he directed me to always the right places. I used Cursor AI, and it worked really well. It was fast, effective, and just what I needed. And I want to say that about the game development thing, as a coming from the non-dev background, it wasn't all smooth. Sometimes AI made mistakes and went off the wrong direction. I had to step in and guide it back. And the important thing I learned in this process: stay persistent. If the AI doesn't get it right the first time, don't give up. Just figure out how to explain your idea better and push it in the direction. But the thing is, I think I give a special shout out to Rice documentations. That was a lifesaver. When I was stuck in that, I go to the documentation and I get it for me personally, but I'm not get the coding thing, and I try to tell the AI what should I do. So I loaded the documentation cursor, and that made the whole process so much easier. And also I will give my shout out to Max, because Max and the other team guys. When I get stuck at any moment, Rive's team was always here to help, and they were incredibly supportive and ready to jump whenever I needed guidance. Seriously, that was amazing.
Thank you,
From
Nida.
my
Yeah. Again, like I'm just representing Rise, but there's a bunch of other guys that have been doing tremendous work. So shout out to them. And thanks, Nida, for introducing yourself and all these kind words. We'll get more into like your game and your experience as well, a bit more, in a bit.
Sure.
Maybe
Yeah.
Paolo, you can give us a short intro too.
Okay, hello everyone, and I'm also a Cartesi community member from 2021, and I found Rise really cool because it's a way to communicate. Okay, game development was an obstacle for me before because I have a scientific background, but I was intimidated by the artistic part of game development, and now thanks to AI, I can jump. Okay, I can I can bridge the gap between my coding skills and the artistic part. So I use the AI to do the animation for apples or coins in my game, and that was very cool. So now everyone is able to do a fully decentralized game, apparently, on Rise. So it's a great thing, and there is an incentive, okay, to create games and share your experience, your creativity with others, and it's like kid dream coming true. We all lived the era of Pokemon, okay, and when I was a kid, there was a huge Acrom movement around those cartridges. And when I was a kid, I always dreamed about doing one, but it was so difficult when I was a kid. And now it's feasible for everyone, and that's the great thing about Rives.
Thank you, Paolo. Yeah, no, you've been tremendous support both on the Cartesi side and the Rive side since forever. So it's always really appreciate you being around.
Whenever I see Paul and anywhere in the chat, in Telegram or Discord, I always think, okay, Paul, I see you.
I was lurking in the dark.
Absolute legend, man.
Yeah. Kudos to you and your coding skills also.
So yeah, guys, I just wanted to, we can continue this conversation, and I think you guys already started sharing some of your experiences, but I wanted to, in parallel already open up Rives and maybe showcase these games that you created to give a bit more color to your words as well, or additional color. So the creator season, we still have the banner up here, and I thought maybe we could just dive into some of these cartridges and some of the gameplays that were generated. And I'm gonna start with Adrenaline because he got really high scores on a lot of stuff. He's not here with us.
Doing that.
Yeah, he also demolished, I think, or crushed the Doom Olympics contest we did back in September.
Yeah. And
he's back here dominating the leaderboard this time.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, in the last meeting he said that I'm playing 5 hours straight during the day.
Yes,
right?
yes, he did indeed. He. I mean, at least for Doom, he said he just played, yeah, like the whole day before submitting his gameplays.
Sloping is your game, right, Max?
It is. It is.
Let's see how he does. Let's see how he does.
Okay, let's open this one. But he's cheating on this one. Let me find one where. Let me.
He didn't
What was
hesitate to try.
He got a penalty for that. But let's see if we can find maybe
I like it.
Those guys are finding all the glitches and bugs in our game.
yes.
Boom, they began to run against walls.
Exactly. But I mean, I think it's part of that, because it's like, the games are almost, it's hard, like tricky sometimes to say like, okay, should we accept this or not? But in a way, it's, it should be accepted. But we knew that this was going to happen because like community created games, I guess. I don't know which one Space Warrior here, he's doing pretty well. We could check out this one, right? Nida, if I can, let me just mute this because I want to see if we can get this started here. So, what is the story, the backstory, Nida, behind this game? Like, what was the first spark? Give us everything. Like, what made you like? What was the trigger moment?
The trigger moment was I was the first time I created the game, and it was nearly successful, but there was no cartridges, whatever. And the second time, I knew I can push myself further, but again, I stuck at adding surprise. But I want a spaceship and space barrier in the all space horizon thing, and all the monsters coming sliding through to me and fighting back to them. Yeah, that was the idea. And during first period of the game jam, I have no surprise, whatever. And after consulting them with you, and I be able to add my surprise barely. But I think I managed to do that not bad. He's
Not
cheating
bad.
in here, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, call him out. Call him out. What's he doing?
Yeah.
It's not cheating because technically, like, you designed the game.
Not cheating. Yeah. He find a way. Every time you fighting between those monsters, the game should be the monsters will become faster.
Yes.
But you find a way.
That makes
Was
sense.
there one tape that you really liked or that played the game like you were, I don't know, was there one specific tape of your game that you want us to like play, or we can also keep it for later?
Yeah, not much, but I love that one. They play constantly with fighting, and they coming through really fast, and it makes me excited. Just
Yeah, when it's like very sped up.
yeah.
No, this was great. I mean, this is your second game on Rives, and you can definitely see, you're trying new things and improving, and you, as you said, you have a little bit of development experience, almost none, I think, right, from before.
Almost none, but I try to push myself always further, thanks to Cartesi and you.
I mean, I think that's amazing, honestly, that you took up this challenge. So yeah, props on that. Really cool. Yeah, and I mean, there's a bunch of other tapes. You can essentially, like, all of the Space Warrior tapes here, you can open any of them and then just jump to watch them by clicking on the play button. Maybe we can watch one of Paulo's tapes. Like, he built a very cool snake game. Paulo, I'm just gonna, like, let's see. Should I just grab one of these, like, from maybe Adrenaline here? I think he played it fair and square. Let's see. So Slither Slide, a very cool game. Paolo, you want to give us a little bit of backstory and you already shared a bit on the AI front, but like, what was your trigger moment and what made you want to build this? Your experience.
Yeah, basically, I already watched a YouTube video about procedural animations before, and when the contest popped on X, it was about sliding. So I thought it would be cool to implement this procedural animation in a Snake game, and the two ideas matched, and I said, okay, I wanna do this, and basically I started building after a lot of days. The contest was began earlier, and so I lost time, but it was very very cool to implement this because it was a little bit of a challenge because I never developed something this graphical, okay, before. Always, numerical things, never something like a game. Bomb Flip was a little bit easier because it was fixed matrix, okay. But implementing this procedural animation was very cool. And then, as it always happens, you begin to build something very little, and you begin expanding over it, and you end up building the thing all over again. So right now, I'm expanding this game to be a multi-room game, and maybe I can show you the progress. Okay.
Yeah, we love that. You want to share your screen?
Yeah.
Fantastic. This
It's
is
amazing.
I didn't expect this. This is great.
I love the animation of the apples in the CTS.
Yeah.
Logo. They like shimmer a little bit, and I really like that. Did an
Welcome to
amazing
Nilo
job.
as well, who joined us. Hello, sir.
Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. This is actually the new version of the game, and I added a multi-room logic. So when you collect the coin, the door opens and you can enter a new room. Okay.
So cool.
Also added some graphic to the walls, and that's it. So the idea basically, okay, I can end.
Kamikaze.
Okay. So yes, I can guess. So I can speak. Basically, the idea is having a sort of puzzle game, okay, where you have multiple rooms and you have to collect the coins. An idea was having to use the coins physics to make the coin go in a certain area, and that will trigger the door to open. And basically, the idea is making people able to create their own puzzles, like in Mario Maker. Okay, so right now the levels are a matrix, and each room is a place in the matrix. Okay, and basically a puzzle will be a matrix that has the numbers of the levels. Okay, that adjacent levels can be distant from each other. Okay, and each entry of the matrix has a 4 room array that 4 places array. Each place of the array is a flag for a door to open. Okay, and so basically the idea is to add a section in the game called Create, and people can design their own puzzle in the Snake game. Okay, so there will be an incentive to submit tapes, okay, to make other people play your puzzle.
Bro, I love that. So you submit the tape and then someone can play your puzzle, right? Because you generate it with them. I love that.
That's amazing.
It's a very cool.
So I said each time we start little and then expanding. So
You got to start small, otherwise, yeah. If you don't have that small start, no one ever starts. But then once you have this small spark, then it just
Yes.
grows. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think it's great that you did it for the Snake game, to where you start small and you just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I like it.
Yeah, yeah. It
True.
made me excited to watch that. Yeah,
You
you're
guys all
killing
play
it, Paulo.
thank you.
Everyone here played Snake when they were younger, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah, with my 1100 Nokia phone, that was my first phone ever. If you knew that phone, Nokia 1100, I play all day long. With the Snake.
Yeah, my first one was also on the Nokia phone. A small
Yeah.
screen, right?
Good times. Yeah, I like a lot as well on this one. The physics kind of like if you push, you can push essentially like the fruit as well a bit on the side and stuff. I think that's also very unique depending on how you hit it. But anyways, maybe we can go to one of Danilo's games. He built 2 games this time around.
Yeah.
Legend.
And
Danilo, which one should we
that.
which one should we start with?
Anyone, you can choose.
I can choose. Okay, let's see here. Rush
The
Hour here
The
has
response of a real dev. You can pick any of the games. Don't worry.
Yeah.
He has endless.
So Danilo, you want to give us a little yeah.
So I actually have this board game. I don't know if you know there's a board game, not really a board game, like a physical game that you can play. And then I like the fact that you have a theme in the Dev Jam. So the theme was slide. So I thought about what can I slide, right? So I thought about sliding pieces. And I remember this puzzle game that I had in physical form, and I searched it up online. I found a really nice project that implemented like a solver, like a automatic solver for the game, and it's a pretty awesome article that describes the mathematics behind the puzzle and how to solve the puzzle, how to solve all possible puzzles that exist. He did a full analysis of the mathematics of the puzzle. It was quite interesting article. I can share the link. I don't know how to share links here, but
You can drop it in the comment section, Nita. Is that correct?
I can also display on the screen.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Right.
Let me do that.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a physical game for this one.
yeah, there is a picture in the you're gonna see if you share the link.
Oh, nice. michaelfogelman.com/rush. So wait, he created a solver, or he wrote an article that essentially solves all the puzzles, but the
Yeah.
solver solves them. Like consider me a bit more left brain or whatever.
Mhm.
Left brain, small brain. Like
Well,
what does that mean?
all of
Like,
us.
a model or an AI that like solves it for you, or
Yeah, an algorithm that solves all the possible puzzles, and he also created like an analysis of all the interesting puzzles, and there is a database of I don't know, thousands of puzzles, and he lists the most interesting puzzles, and that's the same database that I that I used in the game as a input card, right? And then it was just a matter of implementing the logic, which is not that complicated. And there were a few interesting tasks that I had to do. One is animation. You can see there is a lot of animation there, and I wanted to create a way to make the transition between one puzzle and the other. Right there is a sequence of puzzles, and how do I make the transition between one and another in a beautiful way, and at the same time, like explaining the game mechanics by using animations that you can see that the red box slides from one side, enters on the other side. So I like when people are developing a game, how they teach the user how to play the game without going through a long explanation, in a way that he starts playing and learn how to play as he starts playing, right? So to give the user hints about how to play, for example, I highlight the pieces that can actually move, so you kind of know what to do. So the goal is to teach the user how to play in a few seconds, and then let him go, you know.
Very cool. Yeah.
And the scoring mechanism, it was interesting too. The scoring mechanism, if you go faster, if you solve each puzzle faster, your score is higher. So each level you pass, you increase your score by the amount of time you took to solve the puzzle, right?
Makes sense. Yeah, it's cool. So did you solve all of these?
I can solve pretty much all of them. I don't know in the time that I allow it.
How many chapters it has?
How many puzzles?
Yeah, how many puzzles?
In the game, I put 200. Yeah, but I have a database of like thousands of puzzles, and I just picked 200 of them.
Yeah, it reminds me that I remember the period of we played that game through the cars, trying to escape from a garage.
Yeah.
Thing.
Can you open the link on screen, or how can we do that?
Yeah, let me see. The link is, I see it here. Okay. Edits. Let me open it here.
Yeah. So this is the physical game. You see, can you zoom in the page?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And there is the red card. You have to red
Yeah.
card out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, if you go down on the article, you see the combinations of how to represent the board efficiently, and the clusters, all the possible puzzles and how they relate to each other. These are what he called the clusters.
Interesting.
Do an analysis of the clusters, implementation of the solver, some of the hardest puzzles to solve, results, and the database of puzzles that I used. And you can download the database. There is a link there. You can download the database and some of the hardest puzzles. Yeah. So this was kind of the inspiration. I did not use any code from this project. I just re-implemented all of it. Just used the database of puzzles.
Very cool. So could a solver like solve these for you? If I
Yeah.
like, probably, right?
Probably.
That's cool. Is there like ways to? I mean, you could also have like a bot competition, right? Where like you try to build the best solver or something.
Yeah.
Could also be cool.
And the music part, I love the sequencer cartridge. It's very fun to use. It's easy to use, but also very hard to make something nice. And so both of my kids like music. They play instruments, both of them. So I delegated this task to my son. He did the music, and he was having fun
Amazing.
playing with the sequencer. Yeah.
I unmuted my like the music here, so you guys maybe you can hear a bit.
Yeah.
That's very cool. In the family to help.
Yeah.
Still level 54. Wow, that's impressive.
Who is playing that? It's
Adrenaline.
99 Problems. Yeah.
Is that the furthest someone got, or did someone? I think that's the highest.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's the winner.
Yeah.
And then I added a few of the suggestions after the deadline. One of them was to put these little numbers there to know how many taps you have to do to get to the piece that is showing,
Hmm.
so you can move faster. And the other one was to put like a sound effect when the time is running out, which adds more stress, even more stress to the process, because you hear the sound effect when time is running out.
Hmm. Very
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, those details make a nice difference.
I also remembered that you put those sprites from scratch. I think I heard them from you, right?
About sprites.
Yeah.
Yeah, the initial idea was to use sprites to represent the cars, but then I just gave it up, and I'm not using any sprites at all. I'm just drawing every box, everything from the drawing
Right.
primitives.
Oh, very nice. Let's.
So
the new one- Sorry.
just one last comment. Would you go back to the game?
Sure thing.
About the transition was interesting and clever way. If you pause between, would you pause between? Yeah, just like that. So how did I do the transition between one and another, right? So if you see, I have one puzzle on the left, one puzzle on the right, and I draw both puzzles with different positions, right? I draw both of them without the red piece, and I draw a fixed red piece in that position, because when the red piece is out of the puzzle, it's always on that location, right?
Mhm.
So I draw both puzzles. I draw the red piece in a fixed position. When the puzzle on the right gets to the place where the red piece is, I draw the red piece of the right puzzle, and I stop rendering the fixed red piece. So there was a clever way to do the transition between one and another. That was the most interesting. It's a technical detail, but
That's cool.
technically was the most interesting piece of the animation. How to because
Yeah.
if you notice, when it slides, the red piece kind of slides back, because it depends on the position of the red piece in the next puzzle, because it varies. The
Mm.
of the red piece in the next puzzle, it's not always the same, right? But you
Yeah.
can see that the red piece backs up when you enter the next puzzle. So
It's
it
true.
was interesting to code.
I like it. Before we go to your next game, Danilo, maybe I want to give a quick, because there's a few people that build games that aren't here. So we have Batir. This is from one of our top creators. Let's check it out here. This is, a brick game. It actually sounds very nice as well. So Ednick Hebno created this one. And you can choose to go faster or slower by grabbing those little things that come down. Has some really nice colors and effects. I think Adrenaline also got the first spot on this one, as usual. He created this one not during a game jam, kind of like in between, between game jams.
Yeah.
But I like the animations. Very cool.
It's kind of interesting watching them play. He's not grabbing anything.
Yeah, I think it's kind of sometimes it's a trick. You shouldn't grab the like faster things because then you kill yourself maybe.
When we grabbing faster, it makes out of control.
Yeah, it goes much faster. Like the ball comes faster, but you also, I think you get more points per thing that you hit. So it's kind of like a trade-off.
And I love that how add the Cartesi kind of puzzly thing in the next stages.
Right.
If you guys see that.
Yeah, there's a few like interesting. I think Arrives one as well, or Cortese one.
Oh, not the Cartesi one, the Rice one.
Right.
Sorry.
Oh yeah. Okay. No, indeed, he always adds some cool lore. Let's see if we see that still. Fast forwarding.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see how quickly he gets that. You guys also all played Brick. I played Brick, I think, on this game on like an iPod Nano back then. Like that, with like the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Right.
Yeah, that's fun.
Nice. So that was one game. We had let's move this. We had a Packboy game here. So I think you guys are familiar with this one.
Eduardo, all of our titles.
Eduardo ported or implemented this one. Also a classic.
Yeah, that's the real arcade for me. Oh my childhood.
The real arcade, indeed. And I think just for a bit of context, he implemented a Zig version. So that was also,
Sorry, what version?
A Zig is like, Danilo or one of you guys probably knows better, but I think it's a programming language, and it runs on Rives and where it compiles to RISC-V. Maybe there's some more interesting things you guys can say, Danilo or Paulo, but yeah, it was kind of an example of a Zig game that Eduardo. That's why he ported this as well.
Okay.
What else was there? There's my game, Slowpang.
Yeah. Let us hear from you, Max. What was the motivation that you come through the Slowpang?
What was the what? The reason?
What was reason, motivation?
I don't know. I was like, sliding. I was like thinking about. I miss skiing and stuff. Haven't skied in some time. So I was like, let me change this one. Not this. Let's see, Slowpang. So I don't know. I wanted to build a kind of skiing type game. I was looking at Ski Free. I thought, like as an inspiration a bit, but wanted to make it kind of cute. I looked up some like pixel art tutorials, created like the penguin, and then like some Yeah, I don't know. Just the pixel art part was quite fun. Generated like we created the trees and like the obstacles, the other skiers, and yeah, and I mean, this is probably obvious for you guys, but the penguin essentially only stays on the same in the same like x-axis, or it just moves like this.
Yeah.
It doesn't go up or down essentially, and everything else is what moves. And everything is randomly positioned because it's easier. I didn't want to like build a whole map, but also I think it adds some, randomness, which is fun.
Yeah.
And it gets, faster and faster over time. And yeah, and I added a song that Eduardo made with the sequencer. I muted myself because otherwise it's harder to talk and hear you guys. But yeah, for me, it was really fun to build. It was like I did it with AI, like to actually, like the pixel stuff I did, the idea I did, but then like, kind of using cursor to say like, okay, let's start with this, let's add this. So the initial version was like just like dots on the map, and then adding my sprites, and then adding more features, creating new sprites to add. So yeah, it was really fun to do. Yeah, it was fun to watch people play as well. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to what's next. Packboy, we saw Rhythm Spellcaster. This one is from Lino, and I think I need to unmute myself for this.
Yeah.
But
This one
essentially,
was my favorite. I loved this one. It was so good.
it's a rhythm game, so you gotta move on the rhythm. If you don't have rhythm, it's gonna be harder maybe, and then you
Yeah.
can get like some spells and stuff to kill the monsters. And I don't know if you
I
guys
think it was hard to grasp how to use the rhythm at that moment at first for me.
use the spells.
Yeah.
Took me a few times to like, get in, get the hand. But I think
Yeah.
maybe I
like-
also don't have good rhythm.
I
I
think
can manage.
Lino's made some pretty crazy games recently. He made Game of Life last time, which was really interesting.
Yeah.
He's making now he's making this, which is a rhythm game, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, he's thinking the out of box thing.
Yeah, I really like it.
Let's see if this. But yeah, this one is also very fun. It's very musical. If you guys have played Crypt of the Necrodancer, it has similar vibe. And it has multiple levels as well. So if you kind of manage this level, you can move on. And it uses Forgotten Runes sprites. So in the previous jam, we did something with Forgotten Runes, and Lino had kind of started this, or had this idea of doing it with, because it kind of fits the lore and the theme, and he did it again, or he put it in. So it's also, I don't know, cool to have that there. Yeah, and then we can go to, I think, Slalom. So Danilo can talk again about this one.
Yeah.
All right, let me just press play.
Yeah, so the goal in this one, as the theme was slide, I was expecting that skiing was going to be a theme, right? And I thought about Atari and what game they had about skiing. I remember playing this game back in the time when I used to play Atari. Yes, I'm old. And there is a emulator. There are a lot of emulators for Atari these days. One of them is Stella. I downloaded Stella, downloaded the game, played for a little bit, and the goal was to make like a homage or
Demake.
a tribute to the original game. Not to say rip off, but like a tribute to the game. And I did some research about how to render Atari stuff. One interesting thing that I can mention is that when I tried to create the sprites exactly like the original game, I noticed that the pixels were not square, right? Atari pixels are not squared pixels. They are rectangular pixels, right? Atari was designed to run on CRT TVs, right? It was not designed to run on LCD or the regular display we have right now. It was designed to run on CRT TVs. So there is a nice article that I can share, just an interesting bit that people can that I found during my research about people trying to mimic the way the games looked on the old TVs, right? So they implement like a filter to make the game look like it was on a TV, because the TV basically it bleeds the pixels. The pixels not sharp as in LCD displays. They kind of bleed and blends between pixels. They implement like some filters to. So, for example, go down a little bit. If you see, there's a Pac-Man over there, right? So on the right side of the picture, there's a display on the emulator running on a LCD. On the left is how it looked on a CRT TV, right? So if you see that it bleeds a little bit. So that's just an interesting article I found while I was doing some research to know why my sprites were not looking like the sprites in the original game. And then I figured out, no, these pixels are not square pixels, they are rectangular pixels. So what I did is create the sprite. Let me see if I can get a link for you of this sprite. Yeah, this is the link of the sprite. Can you open the link that I just sent you, Max?
Yes. Let me see. You sent it to me on. Oh, you have it here.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So if you zoom in to see the picture, yeah. Maybe you notice that this sprite doesn't look like the sprite that is rendered in the game. The sprite that is rendered in the game is kind of stretched horizontally, right?
Yeah.
So, but the original sprite is like this, where the pixels are squared. But when I render the sprite in the game, I stretch the sprites horizontally by a factor of 2 to make it look like the original game. So that's a interesting fact while implementing it, right? The other one was the physics. The physics that I did. The physics, I mean the speed and how the speed changes when you angle the down, when you turn, right? How the speed changes when you turn. I'm just changing the speed, but in the original game, the physics was a little bit more interesting, because it does not only change the speed but also change the acceleration of the skier. So if you, for example, if you go totally flat in my game, you still have some speed. In the original game, if you go flat, you stop because you're braking, right? And the physics in the original is a little bit more interesting than my physics, but I didn't have any more time to do it. I implemented this in like 6 hours or so.
Nice. I like you have some really cool backstories for every game, and like it's cool that you share your process, like what went through your mind step by step.
I like seeing this kind of compared to Max's game. You know, like they're not the same, but they're close to where they're about skiing. But I think it's cool seeing the creativity just kind of shine from different people. Like every game will be different, and you can mod a game, but it'll never be the same.
Yeah. Another interesting thing is to think how to tweak the difficulty of the game. This is also interesting in any game you do, right? How to increase or decrease the difficulty. In this case, for example, the difficulty is how the gates are the distance between the poles and the distance between and the vertical distance between the gates. So you have a parameter that you can tweak in a context to make the gates closer, to make the gates closer horizontally and also vertically. And in the other game, in the Rush Hour, the difficulty was how much time you have between to solve a puzzle, right? So the default is I think it's 3 seconds times the minimal number of moves to solve the puzzle. So the database of the puzzle, I know what is the minimal number of moves to solve the puzzle, right? I have this number. And the time you have is 3 seconds times the number of moves. So if you solve the puzzle in the minimal number of time, using the minimal number of moves, you have 3 seconds for each move.
Right.
And the other another thing about the slalom game, the ski, I didn't have time to design. So there is nothing random about the track, different from your game as you render using random stuff to know. There's nothing random there. There is a map definition. There's a map format for the track. And I didn't have time to create like a map editor for it. So I had to write the track by hand. And what I did was created like a very tall image in an image editor. And then I started drawing a line of the path that I wanted. And then I knew what was the horizontal position of the gates at each height of this image. So that's how I kind of created the map.
Nice. Interesting approach. You wouldn't expect to hard on the paint editor. That's cool. Nice. I think we have one last game that, from someone that isn't here, and it's another kind of skiing game called Frost Slide. So let's see if... So this one was created by B Games, and it's a... Let's see if there's... Yeah, I think he's going to stay as much as possible on the bottom side here. But yeah, it's more interesting if you move left, right, or up, down, to be more specific.
Oh, that was interesting gameplay. I never think about the nears of those woods. I always try to jump above of them.
yeah, there's always like little. I mean, in this one at least, there's a little thing you can use to your advantage. But yeah, I think this one has. I did like the parallax effect a lot, and the like sunset.
Yeah.
Feels like
Me
the last slope on a ski day or something. Come back home. So yeah, I think that's it. I mean, if you guys have any last words, again, I want to thank all of you for building these games, for being part of this as players, builders, or just being here and supporting everyone. Yeah, and we'll do more of these activities, and but anyone can build a game on Rives anytime. There's no like specified time to do so. So if you ever want to try to build some small game of your own, it's probably just give it a shot. Hop in a Discord. Whether you're a developer or someone like me, or Nida is probably a bit more developer than me, but you can do it. And yeah, thanks guys for joining.
Yeah, I also want to thank again for Rives for making this whole journey possible, and thank you all listeners for listening. I hope you guys also enjoyed the way we created those games. Thank you all.
Yeah, it was a great creator season. Thank you to the Rives team, and thank you for everyone that built games. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. It was awesome.
Cheers.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.